Okay, now is the analysis of the mean and standard deviation. We will use this analysis to analyze the mean and standard deviation for variables in your study. Okay, so mean actually is the sum of the scores that divided by the number of the scores. Okay, so in other simple words, mean of the calculation to find the average numbers of the scores. Okay, average numbers of the scores from your data set. Besides the mean, if we want to calculate the mean, then we have to also calculate we also have to analyze the standard deviation, because a mean and standard deviation must come together. So standard deviation is a measure of average or standard deviation between the scores and the distribution mean. So standard deviation will measure of average or standard distance between the scores and distribution on single measure, which represent the distance between every single scores and the distribution mean. Okay, previous video I show you how to use frequency distribution. Okay, so I review back the previous analysis. Frequency distribution or calculation of percentage, you have to use it if you want to analyze percentage for the demographic factor. Okay, under demographic factor, basically we will have gender, age, analysis of age, analysis of gender, or might be analysis of salary. The item under demographic factor might be salary, or location, or maybe race. Okay, maybe. So if you want to analyze the percentage of the items and the demographic factor, you use frequency distribution. But if you want to analyze analyze the variables, okay, the variables from your study, we have to analyze using the mean and standard deviation. Okay, this is the variables that what I mean. Okay, so this is a variable. Okay, because of every variables definitely will come with the scale of analysis. Okay, scales of measurement. Okay, for example, if you listed here scale from 1 to 5, okay, starting from 1, which is strongly disagree, 2 or scale 2, disagree, scale 3, mixed feeling, scale 4, agree, and the scale 5 will be the strongly agree. So if you want to analyze, okay, these variables, you have to analyze using mean and standard deviation, because we didn't use frequency distribution, because we don't have to find out the percentage of how many respondents or how many samples that choose scale 5, or how many respondents that choose scale 4. Okay, because of we will analyze the variables using the mean and standard deviation. Okay, so the next video, I show you how to analyze and how to analyze the steps in SPSS in analyzing the mean and standard deviation for variables for your study, and also how to write the findings based from how to write the report based from the findings that you get from the analysis. I'll show you the steps for SPSS for mean and standard deviation. Okay, first click analyze, then bring cursor to descriptive statistics, and then click descriptives, and you get the descriptives dialog box. right click for the highlighted, and then we choose display variable names. It will show the variable names here so that it's easier for us to find your variables, items in the variables. Okay, so now we want to create the mean and standard deviation. Okay, so the mean and standard deviation for self-esteem. I choose self-esteem. So you bring your cursor to find section C. Okay, highlight all the items in section C from C1 until C10. Then click this arrow, transfer it to the variable box. Click option and then make sure you click the mean, standard deviation, the minimum, and the minimum value, and the maximum, because we need the data to show the minimum and the maximum score from the respondent. And then for distribution, you just ignore the kurtosis and skewness and display order. We want the data, okay, the system to show us the descending means that it will arrange in the table, it will arrange the highest mean, okay, based on the highest mean, not the item that we create or key in the SPSS. Okay, and then click descending mean, and then click continue and click OK. Okay, based on the findings, based on the finding, you can come up with your assumption. So, I show you here, actually it's from the textbook, the assumption based on these three highest mean. Okay, the finding shows that majority of the students feel that they have a good quality, and this attitude makes them feel confident and have high self-esteem. So this assumption actually represent the result. Actually explain this result. Okay, this is the output. Okay, table from the output that you get from the steps. Okay, it shows here. This is the items from the variables 16. Okay, this is the number of respondents 33, and then this shows the minimum, shows that the value shows here for this item. Okay, for this item, I respect myself. The minimum score is 2, means that there is your respondent, there is maybe one or two of your respondents answer 2 for this item, and the maximum score is 5. So majority of the respondents for every item we have 5. We have score 5, and then this is the mean, and this table already arrange the mean based on the highest mean. Okay, 4.2, and then the next one, I respect myself, 4.2. I feel proud, 4.1, and then I think I'm good, okay, 3.9. So it's the arrange the item based on the highest mean. Okay, then this is a column for standard deviation. So in your report, you have to convert this table into this table like this. Okay, so you write down the table. Okay, for example, you name the tables as table 2, or table 3 based on the table that you arrange from your report. Okay, so the topic will be mean and standard deviation of self-esteem among students of higher learning education, and N is for example, N is 32. Okay, then Okay, so the table from here, okay, this table from the output, when you convert it into your report, you just write down, okay, we just need three columns. This is the items, okay, you write down, okay, the items, okay, I respect myself, and the mean and the standard deviation. And then you have to calculate the average mean. How you want to calculate the average mean? You have to sum up all the means, okay, all means, and divide by numbers of items. So now here you have to sum up 4.2, 4.1, 3.9, and all this value for mean divide by numbers of items. So in this variable section self-esteem, it have 10 items. So divide by 10 and you get average mean is 3.9. Okay, this is a scale, Likert scale. Refers to your questionnaire. Okay, next. Next is, okay, this is how you write your report. Okay, this is the table, and then below the table you have to write your report. Okay, based on the table, for example, table 2, there is 10 items listed, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then you have to explain majority of the respondent respect themselves. Okay, and actually, you don't have to write all items. You don't have to explain all items. You just explain the first three highest mean. So in this situation, the first three highest is already arranged for you. So you just explain item for I respect myself, I feel proud, I take positive attitude. Just the three items. Okay, this is the standard procedure how you write your report. Okay, and then you can you can give the reasons why the students respect themselves. Okay, why this mean these three items, okay, consider as the three highest mean. So you can explain.